been there the whole time. Just keep looking up and open up your eyes. Don't get lost in a crowd. You were made to stand out. The Wonder Creative Podcast.
Well, everybody, welcome to the podcast. I have a really great friend with me today. Like your friend, you're also my client's husband, but also that client is also a friend. And it's just like so many things. I've also just been like so amazed at watching you evolve and grow and do all that you're doing now. And so anyway, whenever we met or whenever you guys were in town and we were sitting in Tana's living room, I was like, he needs to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we just have lots of things we need to talk about. So anyways, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you're awesome, and we'll go from there.
All right. So my name is Wyatt, and my social media name is Rewilded Reselling, which I really want to change at some point. So Chloe, you might be someone who could help me with that.
Interesting. Why do you want to change it?
Well, it's always, this whole thing started as kind of an eBay side hustle, and you just kind of, most of these guys just kind of pick a name that has reselling in it somehow, and then the word Rewilded at the time was something that meant a lot to me. So it's a cool name, but as I've evolved and now my content journey is more than half of what I really do and focus on.
Right.
Then there's so much storytelling involved with my videos, and really as much reselling and kind of like flips as I do. I want to be able to venture out from that and do other things with side hustles and finance and business and stuff too. So name is going to carry me into that place and feel like me. I love my logo. When I got Andrew, our friend Andrew, to help me with my logo, I was like, I'm a very plain person. Like my old logo was literally like a silhouette.
So he did the one with your face?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, that's awesome.
And it was, that's a semi-popular type of, like, you've probably seen other people with that type of kind of like, I don't know what you call that, like cartoonish type, whatever. But for me, as a kind of like a TikToker and all that, it's kind of fits where I'm at. I really like that. And it's like, I almost always have a backwards hat on. I have my beard. So it's me. But the name, I'd rather have Wyatt in the name. So I want it to be Wyatt something, or something by Wyatt, or something like that. So Rewilded Reselling right now is my name on social media. But my background is kind of, I'm just introducing myself, is I played college basketball. I was like basketball all day long until I was about 21. So that's all I did. Didn't have any kind of background with much technology or editing. I wasn't that type of guy. So after that, I worked at a gym for a couple of years, and I was a trainer, which that kind of fit the college basketball deal. And then one day I kind of stumbled across a YouTube video of some guy at a yard sale, and he was buying stuff to flip on eBay, and I was like, that is cool. I knew about sneaker like reselling. I kind of already knew about that. I didn't know people were buying like used stuff and selling it. Like I just didn't know that was a thing. And so I was like, this is pretty cool. And this was right when my daughter was about to be born, and it wasn't necessarily like I was needing or wanting another source of income. I really honestly just thought it was cool, and I was like, well, let me just try it out. But I quickly realized, I can make some pretty good money doing this. So I built up my sales until I was able to like quit my job at the gym and become kind of a full-time reseller. And then I also started YouTube at that time also. Now, at the time it was like YouTube long form, 8 to 12 minute videos, kind of like vlogs of going out to yard sales, going to thrift stores, flipping the stuff online. And then that kind of I had kind of my own journey with that. And then, and then TikTok and short form content blew up. And that's when I went, okay, this is what I want to do.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like whenever you started reselling, did the content creation part of it just kind of flow hand in hand? And you were just like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna like, cause I guess do all like, I guess cause you're in this world of resellers, I'm
Hmm.
guessing that's something that they all do too. Like it's part reselling, part content creation.
Yeah.
And that's like what really kind of flows with each other. So did you know like whenever you started, you're like, I'm gonna like document and I'm gonna vlog and I'm gonna do all the things, or were you like, I'm just gonna like see where this goes?
Yeah, so that first YouTube video of the guy yard sailing that I stumbled across was a guy that now to this day is pretty much the one of the leading voices in the reselling community on YouTube. I think he's closing in on about 400,000 YouTube subscribers.
Mm.
And when I found that video, I remember he had about 800 subscribers.
Wow. Oh
So,
yeah. Okay.
and
I've
so
heard.
I did
Yes.
that, but then what's crazier than that is I find out he's 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So now this guy that's like the leading voice in the reselling kind of community on YouTube is a next door neighbor basically,
Wow.
and then he became one of Jenna's clients.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting thing to think of. We've talked about this with other resellers at times, but like reselling is kind of a sort of a lonely job to do because you do go out and the best part about reselling is the finding. Like it's going to thrift stores, it's going to yard sales. If you're into that, then that's the best part. But then
Yeah.
there's kind of a lonely side to it where when you come home and you have to sit and you have to clean these items or go through them, take pictures of them and list them, you're probably in your room or your garage or wherever your stuff is at. And it can be a very like lonely kind of environment.
Yeah.
I've never personally felt too much that way, but probably because Jenna works from home also. So we're
Yeah.
both
That's
here.
nice.
But there's a lot of resellers who I know, like they really struggle with that. Like, gosh, first of all, it's sedentary. Like a lot of them find themselves not doing any type of exercising, and then they find themselves alone,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up quitting a couple years in because they were like, dang, like as much as my job sucked, at least I was around people.
Yeah.
So if you
Wow.
don't have some kind of community,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of turn to different things. But so my point is, a lot of people get into social media with reselling because it's somewhere to share your stuff and it's somewhere to get some feedback and some stuff with
Yes.
others and so there's I
It's
guess
also really interesting too.
yeah.
Like your videos, I always stop and watch them. Number one, because I want to support you, but also it's just super interesting. Like I don't know
Hmm.
anything about reselling. I
Hmm.
don't, like it's not something I've ever thought about. And even Aaron, my husband, he is like, I want to try to like do some
Yeah.
stuff on the side. I'm like, oh God, like not another hobby. Cause he has like 14,000 hobbies. He just like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that man, he has so many
obvious.
hobbies, but I love it. I love it about him. It's one of my favorite things. But I
Yeah.
was like, if you're going to do this, like, please like talk to Wyatt first or something.
Yeah.
Um, but I always stop and watch because it really is interesting. Um, like what all goes into reselling.
Hmm.
But I see where some people like, or you've addressed this before, where some people like give you a hard time for
Oh
like
yeah.
taking items and like selling them for more and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
How do you like manage that? Or what's your response to people like that?
Yeah,
You
that's
just
that's
don't
a good
care?
point. When I was doing YouTube long form videos 2 years ago,
Mm,
smaller community, I'm getting less views, but it's mostly other resellers watching the videos. So you don't ever
mm,
hear that stuff. So if
yeah.
I ever would get a negative comment on one of those videos, it's like it stung. It really because it's like where's this
Mm,
coming from? Like everyone else is so positive. What's this?
yeah.
Well, you dive into the world of short form content and you get any type of exposure, and you realize very quickly like short form platforms are built for reaching people you don't know. So
Yes.
therefore,
It's
reaching
like top of
people,
the funnel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're reaching people that don't respect what you do, don't understand it, or just blatantly have a different opinion. And so, to be quite honest, it helps with engagement. So I don't really care. I mean, I think it's fun. I mean, I think at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's like, okay, I have to laugh it off because, like,
Yeah.
one, the most popular thing that someone would say about what I do is you're stealing from the poor. That's most people's perspective, because if they grew up poor and they grew up going to thrift stores, in their mind, thrift stores are there to benefit the poor. And
Okay.
obviously, a reseller's perspective is, well, if only poor people shop there, there wouldn't be any stores because poor people don't have enough money to keep a corporation afloat. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, if we all stop shopping, then there's nothing for the poor, you know. And then the other
Yeah.
thing I always tell people is, guys, I'm buying like 2 and 3 items at a time. Like every time I leave Goodwill, there's still 500 T-shirts there,
Yeah. It's
500.
not like you're like just totally taking every item.
I'm like, I'm getting the stuff that's worth a good amount on eBay, but like, if a poor person walks in there, they just need a pair of pants. Any pair of pants is gonna do, you know. So, um,
That's wild. I can't believe
so
people think that.
it's crazy. So yeah, to be honest, like I get those comments on every video I post, and it helps with reach, and
Yeah.
you know, and I don't address it a whole lot because it's like it's just a cycle. I'm never gonna fix that, but every now and then I'll like comment back something, and you know, and usually it's like I'm strategic about it to where like a lot of people are gonna see that comment or something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know. I don't entertain it very often, but you know, at this point, negative comments, to just being honest, they don't really even. I don't even think about them. I get them all day.
Yeah.
I literally all
Yeah.
day long I get comments. Um, if they were to ever say something about like my family or something, that'd be different. I think. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
my family as much anymore. Because probably because of that reason. So.
Yeah. So, how many followers do you have right now on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all the things?
So now I think I'm closing in on like 90,000 followers on TikTok, something like
Okay.
that, 80 something thousand. My Facebook page has grown a lot, so closing in on
Okay.
50,000 there,
Oh, wow. That's
which is
awesome.
great because, you know, Facebook's kind of got its own deal. I mean, the reels get reach, but you can also, you know, maybe slightly easier to build a community there. Like
Yeah.
you can write text posts, and you can do polls, and you can get like feedback, like in written form, and it's kind of fun to play around with that. I think if I ever wanted to like monetize like some like in a different way, like through a product or something, I think Facebook is
Mm-hmm.
a place where I could almost like maybe sell something to people. We'll see. And
Mm.
then YouTube, I think I'm closing in on 40,000 subscribers, and then Instagram, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. Is
Instagram.
Instagram people don't really follow. It's like because I have reels that get. I mean, I've had reels get 1 million views on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. Frequently, they get 20,000 or 50,000, but people don't
Mm-hmm.
follow from those. So I don't know. And you
It's
know,
so interesting.
all the short form platforms, in my opinion, even YouTube at this point, like yeah, okay, I have 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. Who cares? Like they're not.
Yeah.
Honestly, those aren't people that. Um, I don't have super fans. You know, I look at some YouTube long form people, they gain super fans, like a community of people who will, if you told them that, you know, this piece of paper right here was worth $1 million and you should buy it, they would buy it. I
Mm.
can't do that. I
Mm-hmm.
have people who, you know, more or less just watch me for snippets at a time.
Yeah.
I want to build a community, but I'm still not sure how. So I'm working on that.
Yeah. I've heard that like Instagram is more of the place where is like more community, like that's like your people, and then like all these other things are like the people that are more just like kind of anybody and everybody. But
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know for sure, but that's just what
Yeah,
I feel like
it's
everything. I mean, it just changes like so much every day
it does.
with social media and content creation. And I know for me personally, like I've been in such a rut with figuring out what I should post. And like I was listening to, what was I listening to? Oh, I was listening to Jess Sowards,
Hmm.
and she was talking about content creation. She was like, if you just create things that you think people want to see, then it's gonna fall flat, and
Yeah.
you're not even gonna enjoy your own content. She's like, you
Yeah.
need to like create what like naturally just kind of like comes out of you, you know?
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to like get back to that place, but it's hard because sometimes I'm just like, no one cares about this. Like,
Yeah.
no one cares. Like, why am I doing
Mhm.
this? Nobody cares. You know, it's just like ever evolving. And I'm like, okay, like, yes, content creation is important for me, but for me personally, like, yes, I do get leads and stuff from Instagram. But it's not like my main. Like it's not like if I don't ever post, like my business would tank. I mean, it may see maybe a little bit of a, you know, reaction, but I mean, I think I could still have a business if I didn't have Instagram. So sometimes I have to focus my efforts to like other places and like rein it in and be like, okay, I don't have to focus so heavily on this. But I also love content creation too. Like I actually really do love it. So I'm like trying to get back to a place where I'm like excited to do it again because I do love it. And I think I really enjoyed listening to Jess talk about it because she's very like down to earth, like has like a very good worldview, is very present, but then she also really loves like the good parts of social media, you know?
Yeah.
So like how do you manage being a content creator and a business owner? Like, is it difficult managing those two things and like wearing both of those hats, or is it like pretty easy for you?
No, it's gotten easier in the last 3 months. So just in transparency, like I in the last 3 months, I actually like finally make money as a content creator. Like
Okay,
it's
wow.
actual money. It's real money. It's like, it's surprisingly pretty pretty good, and it's like much more rewarding. Um,
Yeah. Is
so
that
yeah,
from TikTok or from, you don't
TikTok.
have to say if you don't.
No, you're good.
Okay.
TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube all have
Okay.
pretty good monetization for short form creators.
Okay. That's
Instagram
awesome.
doesn't, but like you said, I mean, to me, Instagram is where I talk to other resellers. That's all. Like all I care about on Instagram is seeing what my other reseller friends are up to. Stories, Instagram stories, I think are the most important thing on Instagram.
I
Um,
totally agree.
they're amazing. And really, if this is such a side note, but to
No,
me,
it's cool.
someone wanted to. So what I've told people, if you wanted to learn to kind of storytell and engage an audience, but you're not ready to like fully dive into the world of like TikTok or something, I
Hmm.
always tell people, I'm like, learn to do it in Instagram stories and see if you can see views. See if you can retain people from the like if you do 3 or 4 stories, see if you can get the same amount of viewers on your fourth one as your first one. Like it's
That's a
not going
good
to
tip.
happen, but it's a good like test if you can use the
Hmm.
first story as sort of a hook and kind of pull them
Hmm.
in and say, hey, here's what this is like. My next few stories are going to be about this, and then in the second one and the third one, kind of build it, and then add a little tension to the storyline, and then wrap it up in the fourth. Like if you could learn to do that with Instagram stories, it's really the same on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or anything.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah,
And you're
and
so good
yeah,
at storytelling. Like
thank you.
you always, and I remember Jenna telling me, which by the way, Jenna's been on the podcast. This is my
Yeah, you actually
bookkeeper's
recognize your ring.
husband.
Because you were there. You were there. I was like, maybe she did it in here.
Yeah.
This has
No,
been.
yeah, no. Yeah, we did it in person.
Yeah, that's right.
But Jenna Sippy is my bookkeeper and
Mhm.
she's awesome. And we're finishing up her project right now. So she's also a client and I'm her
Yeah,
client. So
yeah. I'm
lots of
so
love.
excited about that, by the way.
Do what?
So excited about the branding. It's gonna be so
Oh
good.
yes, yes. I'm too. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorites that I've done.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with it so much. Like
that's
it
cool.
looks so good. I'm so excited.
Well, as a
Um,
creator, they all kind of become your favorite when you're working on them because
yes.
you're right in the middle of it and you're like, I just can't wait to like
Yeah.
deliver the product. That's how I
Yes.
feel about my videos. I mean, I'm like
Yes. It's
in
like
the
the
middle of a
latest one is the
series.
best.
Yeah, it feels like an art piece that I'm working on, and like,
Mm.
I told Jenna at some point when I either have a better like location or a better workspace, I'd love to have like a wall and somehow creatively like put each of my kind of favorite series, most viral like series like on something and
I
like put
love
them up,
that.
like because I mean I can go through my head and be like, gosh, like short form content has led me to a lot of places, like
Mm.
either meeting people or things I've found at thrift stores or just projects I've worked on in Las Vegas, like I went to Las Vegas or whatever. Like
Mm.
it's pretty crazy. Like to me, it's not just like a little video. It's like it's almost like an art piece. It's just in video form, you know?
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea. You should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Like have a physical representation of like how far you've
Yeah.
come.
Pretty cool.
Um, So I don't know if I don't know if I gave you a chance to fully answer that question, but with content creation and being a business owner, how do you handle that practically and like day to day?
Yeah, so it's difficult when before I was really making money as a creator. It was difficult because I knew if I want to make money, I have to sell things on eBay. And then documenting the journey and editing videos takes pretty much the same amount of time. So I'm like, oh, it can be difficult to like, I know I want to make this video and I know I need 4 hours to do it, but if I put 4 hours into my eBay business, that's where the money's at. So it was very difficult, like for the last 3 years, I've just done my best. I mean, and I guess any entrepreneur understands that there's an element to entrepreneurship that's like, there's a lot of unpaid stuff, because you're responsible for the whole thing. So
there's a lot of grit.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of grit. Like, I'm doing this.
Man, like, I got a 3-year-old, like, some nights, Jenna and I will be like at 5 o'clock, we'll be like, all right, until 8, we're just turning our brains off and just hanging out with Everly. And then we get her down, but we know we got probably 2 more hours we got to put in after that. Like, as much as that may suck, and maybe people who have jobs don't understand that, like, that's just the reality of it. Like, the good thing is we both love what we do. So I think that maybe the difference is, well, if you're just hustling because you can't sit still, that's a problem. But if you really love what you do, and then you also know like there's work that has to go into it, and you have to find time to kind of knock it out. So now it's much more rewarding because there's like at the end of it, it's like, okay, this is something that one is going to bring revenue to me and help our family. Two, I love doing it, and it's just really fun, but it does require a lot of time.
A lot of discipline.
A lot of discipline. My eBay business I've been able to slow that down quite a bit in the last couple months. So at this point, it's almost, I'm not going to say it's for the content. Like I still need sales. I still like to bring in that money, but I mean, more or less I'm doing it because that's the subject matter of my videos for the most part.
Okay. So so used to is like the bulk of your revenue was reselling, and now you're saying the bulk of your revenue is content creation?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's probably
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And content creation can be a little flighty, like with short form especially. I mean, some months are better than others, but there's you can just have these explosions in a very short amount of time. So anyways, I like it though. I mean, I do better with having a couple different things at one time. Like if I just had one thing to do job wise, I would be miserable. So.
Yeah. And I have a lot of respect for you as well, because you're also a dad and you also care deeply about family. And so I'm sure you do all of this with that in mind of like, or at least that's how I think about what I do. I'm like, I don't want to run my business as if I were single when I'm not, and like that just doesn't, like I have a family, and while some people like, maybe there's some other people out there that are single, they have businesses and they are experiencing so much growth and they have time to do all these things. And I'm like, I can't compare myself to that person because they are in a totally different place in life and they have more time, like just point blank, like they have more time. If you're single, you have more time, So, but I commend you like for, finding a way to have all of this coexist in your life in a healthy way. And so anyway, that's exciting. And I'm excited that you've been able to grow like this in a healthy way. Cause some people it's like, it's not healthy. And you can tell like from the outside, you're like, oh, this is not good.
No doubt.
What is something you feel people misunderstand about you or what you do? I know we talked about like you're stealing from the poor, but maybe something else.
The stealing from the poor thing's funny. But no, I don't.
It really is funny.
I don't care about that
because I know you so well. I'm like, that is so ridiculous.
Yeah, we had at FlipCon. This is just kind of funny, but Josh is the guy that the one that I told you I found his YouTube channel that lives here. He's the one who hosted that conference. So that's actually his convention, I guess.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, anyways, he brought in a local Goodwill manager from Charlotte while we were there to answer some questions. And someone said that for a video. They were like, "All my haters on TikTok say that we're stealing from the poor. Can you answer to that?" And anyways, he was like, he did a great job of explaining, but he was like, it just really comes down to a mission. Like he's like, Goodwill's mission is the job. So I don't know if you are familiar with that, but like most Goodwills have like their job placement program. But he's like, Salvation Army, like yeah, they're trying to reach like the inner city, or they're trying to reach people stuck in poverty. But he's like, that's not even Goodwill's mission. So he's like, I can just point blank tell you, like, we're not thinking about the poor in that way that you're saying. We're thinking about helping people get jobs. So, anyway, so that was kind of funny for at the convention. I mean, we all knew that as resellers, but I think he wanted to do it for his TikTok, let people know, coming from a Goodwill manager, what their perspective is. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I think if we're talking about more like content and stuff, then it could possibly be just like, because I think for so long there wasn't like content creators that were as a career. It wasn't a career, like people weren't. We're probably talking 10, 15 years ago, but if you were mega viral, then yeah, there may have been money in it because you could get on the news, or you could have sponsorships with celebrities or something. But there wasn't like the everyday vlogger that was able to make money. So, and even 3 years ago, people who were making reels and short form media, there was no money in it. So it's such a new career that I think, one, people don't take it seriously. Like people might look at what I do like, what are you doing? Like, why are you on the internet every 5 minutes I look on the internet? And then two, like, especially for what I'm doing, so like I may be different than some people. So some people who have a business or and then do content, and they're in it to like share their stuff and maybe teach about their business. Like for me, it's almost the other way around. It's like, for me, the storytelling and the actual content and the views is the job. Like to me, that is. So it's like for me, going viral is the goal. Now, there's bad ways to go viral, and there's healthy ways to go viral. Like I could be controversial and almost like going viral because
like ruffle some feathers and like
almost rude and like obnoxious.
Yeah.
There's that.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's like storytelling for the sake of like entertainment. And that's the exact, just for anyone listening, it's the exact same thing all your Netflix shows and your movies are doing. It's the same thing. Like Jenna has been going through that book, Story Brand, I think.
Yep, I told her to read it.
Yeah, you told her to read it. And anyway, she was just, we went to watch a movie, and she's like, "Oh, I know when the tension point's about to happen," or what. It's like there is a formula to media.
Every single story,
that gets views, and so that's to be honest, that's kind of what I'm wanting to learn to be able to do. And I've done it in at moments with some of my shorts where it's like, gosh, you're getting such a like I think my most viral video ever so to date is it had 15 million views on TikTok, and it's I found the women's Prada shoes at Goodwill.
Oh yes, I remember this.
Already have tension because like you have Prada, super designer, like rich people stuff, and Goodwill. Yeah. And then I find them, and then I wanted to like get them authenticated, so I brought in like this third point to the story, which was like this authentication service, blah blah blah, and the video just went crazy,
And you did it over a series of videos, like I remember. So like you didn't throw it all into like one video, like you're like. I think you like left it on a hook on a cliffhanger, like, should I get these authenticated or whatever? Yeah, exactly. And so everyone's like, yes, you definitely should. Or, like everyone's chiming in, like you've already gotten everyone interested for the next one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that company that I used for authentication, they reached back out to me, and we're currently working on like another video series, so it's been cool, but
that's cool.
That's so for me, the goal for my type of media it is to go viral, because that's how I make money. I mean, just being honest, like you can get sponsorships and you can do other things, but short form media is just a lot different than long form. Like long form, you could you could get to a point where you could have a good amount of subscribers, and you're gonna, unless you do something crazy or mess up big time, like you can. It's very easy to consistently keep that same audience, and you can predict what your income is going to be quite a bit easier.
Wow.
With short
Okay.
form, it's like you either go viral and you get paid, or you don't. So
Yeah. Okay.
storytelling really becomes an art form and a skill that you learn. And to me, going viral isn't an accident. It can happen
Mm.
accidentally, but you can actually learn a skill of going viral. And storytelling is really the key there, because it's the same thing that's been happening all of eternity, But
Mm.
definitely, like if you look at Hollywood and movies, the film industry, you're talking about a skill that they learned, that they
Mm-hmm.
implement, and movies make the movie industry is crazy. So,
So, did you know that the Prada shoes was gonna go viral? Were you like, oh, I have a feeling like this is gonna be?
well, sometimes you do get a feeling. I knew. I mean, I've never found Prada ever in a
Yeah.
Goodwill, so I thought, well, that's interesting. I thought that, and I really was like curious. So are these really real or not? I mean, there's
Yeah.
fake. I see like fake designer stuff quite often, but like Prada is kind of a random one. So I was like, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So, no, I didn't know it was going to go viral like that, but I thought, okay, this is a good topic. Like, wow,
Yeah.
Prada and Goodwill, got to get them authenticated. I knew it could turn into a series, and then from there, it's just building the story out.
Yes, I love that. I talk about storytelling a lot,
Yeah, I know you
and
do. Yeah, yeah.
like it's a really big deal, and I feel like even more so today, everything that we're talking about with content creation, but also like with AI and stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like people are thinking that like AI is going to solve their problems when it comes to like copywriting or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you have to like really know who you are if you're gonna like use tools like chat gpt and stuff like this,
Mm-hmm.
because like people are gonna be able to tell if it's not like, you just can't really take the human element out of
Yeah,
everything. Like we just can't, like I just
exactly.
don't think it's really gonna work. And so with storytelling, I feel like that's one of the things that will always like strike someone's heart, like that will always set somebody else above the rest. Like if you can tell a good story, then, and what I mean by story is like, yes, literally telling a story, but also like what involves a story, emotion, emerging people into like some sort of place, um, like using connection and like taking it out of like information and creating some sort of like narrative and really like seeing like it as like a one-on-one opportunity to connect with somebody. And so anyway, I feel like that's like that's the kind of content that I think everybody really craves, because
Yeah,
information is not in lack at this point.
right. Yeah,
We have information everywhere. Like I
mhm,
do not need to invest in more information for my life. I
right.
need to learn to apply the information that
Yeah,
I have. That's really my more of my problem right now. But so like informational posts, it's like, okay, like I get kind of exhausted with that. But
yeah,
if something can like really draw me in, that's different. Like that's
yeah,
just, it's just like, I mean, I'm not going to say it's better, but I feel like if you can really learn how to bring storytelling into the business side of things, it
yeah,
really does make such a difference. You do that really well. And I know
yeah,
you took like a course on it. I just remember us talking about that, about like
yeah.
how to
No,
actually make videos and like the science behind the storytelling and all
mhm.
that stuff. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, that's my friend. He's the one that inspired me for all short form media. Like
Yeah.
I found his stuff and I was like, man, because he's kind of in the same niche that I'm in, like with the side
Mm.
hustle and finance, but his videos were not informational as much as they were like big ideas with a story, and so I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So when he dropped his course on storytelling, I was like, he had already told me some of that stuff privately, but to take the
Mm-hmm.
course, I was like, dang. I mean, but going viral is not an accident. I mean, that's what I came out of that
Mm.
course saying. Like,
That was like your main takeaway.
yeah. I mean, it's not an accident, and it's a skill that can be developed. And if these platforms change, if TikTok goes away, if whatever, if something changes, storytelling still won't. There's always
Yeah,
going to be
you're
a
right.
way, there's always going to be a way to publish a story,
Yeah.
regardless if it's on a paper, the newspaper, or if it's in TikTok. Like there's always
Yeah.
going to be a new way to do it. And I pretty much am anticipating that monetization will change, the platforms will change. It's not the most dependable career, I guess you could say, but storytelling is like a skill that is dependable. If you can do that, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you ever struggled with putting yourself out there and like worried what other people thought about you, especially in like those early stages before you had kind of like the reward of people
Mhm.
commenting and like, loving your content? Like before all of that really happened, was it difficult for you to like really put yourself out there and, think about like what people may think about you or what have you?
Yeah, when I first started my YouTube channel, it was weird because you're basically doing it, and then you're going to share it to, because all you have to do is share it to like your friends and family, and like as
Yeah.
much as they love you, as much as they love you, they don't get it. So the
No,
feedback isn't that good. So it's like,
I'm
oh,
laughing because I'm laughing because I feel like the the embarrassment because like my grandma. I'm sorry, it's just making me laugh so hard.
that's good.
My
That's like,
grandma, she told me, she told me like a while back. She's like, well, one of my friends set up on my phone so I can listen to your podcast.
no way. That's good.
And I was like, okay. And I'm like, she's not gonna get it. Like she's gonna
Yeah,
she's gonna be like, who is this person?
that's great.
Oh my gosh. I don't think she actually listens to it anymore. Like I haven't heard her talk about it at all. I think
That's
maybe
so
she listened to a
funny.
couple and then she probably forgot how to use it. But sorry, if Mammal, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. Sorry, so sorry. I hope
That's
you've enjoyed the podcast. But it's hilarious because I know what you mean. It's like
yeah,
you
it's just.
feel kind of like embarrassed to show this side
Mhm.
of yourself to like friends and family because they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird early on. Like, you get support from certain people, but then, yeah, most people that have known you your whole life, they're not the best people to share it with. Like, it's just
Totally.
like as much as they may love you and support you from afar, like if you're looking for encouraging feedback, they're not going to give it because they don't understand it. It's not like
Yeah.
they don't think you're doing a cool thing. It's like, what are they supposed to say? Like, you're
Yeah.
getting 23 views in
Well,
their
and they're
mind.
not really your people anyway.
No,
Like it's
right?
not
They're
like
not.
your
Yeah,
audience. So
exactly.
of course it doesn't really make sense.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
definitely got it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a pretty, I've kind of always been out in front. I mean, playing basketball and stuff, like I was always the team captain kind of guy.
Okay, yeah.
So I've always sort of been ahead of like the curve with being the first one to do something or being out there. I've always been an extrovert. So that aspect of it, maybe not as difficult for me. But there have definitely been times. I mean, geez, I film in public. Like the first couple
People
times I
looking
filmed
at you.
GoPro in public. Are you kidding me? I was like, people think I'm
I'm
crazy.
at Goodwill today.
Yeah, people think taking
That
it
would
to a
be me.
yard sale. You're thinking, well, they have to know what I'm doing, so they're not going to give me a good deal. I've had two people ever ask me about it.
Uh,
It's not,
mm,
people
okay.
don't care. People don't care that people do things in public. I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a
Okay.
guy on TikTok or something that makes videos where he's like, I promise you nobody cares what you do in public. And he'll like hop up on a table in like side of a mall and he'll like show the camera
Yeah.
and like literally no one cares. Like
No one
maybe,
cares. I feel like maybe before TikTok and before like social media really became
yeah,
whatever, then people cared. They were like, what's going on? But now it's like I assume I'm like, it's TikTok. Like I
yeah,
just
yeah,
assume.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's I don't know. There's different aspects to it that still are kind of like I don't know how to share like my journey with people that I really care about and love because it's like I don't know. I mean, but geez, I'm from a cowboy family, Chloe. Like my brother owns a feedlot in the middle of the panhandle of Texas. He
Yeah.
does outside dirty work, long days. Weather doesn't matter what the weather is. 7 days a week, 2 times a day, you have to feed the cattle. Like that's the type of stuff I come from. So what I do is definitely weird for them.
Yeah.
Super weird, but they are entrepreneurship minded, so they totally respect it. I mean, it's
That's sweet.
I think it's cool. It's just not
It's
something
just so different.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would say my biggest supporters are other people that are entrepreneurs and like
Hmm.
create content, and they get like how much of yourself goes into everything that you
Hmm.
do and
Yeah.
everything that you put online. Like because you just get it. And like that's why if you're in my life, if I see some sort of content from you, like I will like it, I'll do something because
Yeah.
I know it just like it matters. Like just
Yeah.
it just like those little things do matter. Yeah, that's a really good point about like you kind of honestly. So what you're saying is it was harder more so for you to get past like your friends and family seeing this part of you and not really understanding it. Like that was more of like the hiccup, but
Yeah.
everybody else, like it didn't really matter to you.
Yeah. Strangers, I'm like, all right, well, you're a
Yeah.
stranger, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking to your brother about your YouTube channel that gets 43 views. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. I totally see that. Okay. What do you think what do you feel are some of the biggest opportunities and hurdles for content creators right now? And you can
Okay.
apply it to reselling if you want to, but I think if you have any insight for just in general content creators, I think that
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah, no, I think I do. I'm at the point too, Chloe, where I'm working with some different people in different industries also.
That's awesome.
As far as giving advice and all of that, because I think I'm starting to understand storytelling enough to where I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what the subject matter is. So like, there's a story to be told. But
Yeah.
I think as far as opportunity, just think about any form of media that there's ever been. There's the early stages of it, and then there's
Mhm.
the future and the opportunity. And all I can tell you about short form media is it's not going away, and it's
Mhm.
growing because it's the fastest way to get the point across. And like my
Mhm.
favorite thing about short form content is that if let's say you eventually wanted to learn or grow an audience in long form, you
Mhm.
still need to learn how to not waste people's time. And the best way to do that is to be constricted to a minute long. I think most of them are a minute and a half now. Like you can do a minute and a half long reel or whatever. But
Okay.
if you only have a minute to talk or a minute to get like you got to cut all the fluff out. And so
Totally.
it teaches you to do storytelling efficiently,
Mm.
and then you can apply that to anything later on. But um,
Right.
I think that the opportunities are that businesses are getting to the point to where they're like, oh my gosh, like organic reach via influencers or even our own page is
Mhm.
it's the best way to do it right now. Like,
Yep.
who knew 3 years ago that TikTok would become like a hub for businesses? I mean,
Yeah.
really, it started off as teenagers doing dances, and then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, there's people like really driving like business through their TikTok. And then now there's
Yes.
TikTok Shop, which is the company that I went to Las Vegas with, which is a whole different story. But the company that I've been working with kind of on the side is a company who they went on Shark Tank. Okay, they
Mhm.
present their product, they get a deal, they tons of exposure from that. It blows their business up. They're an Amazon, mostly sell their product on Amazon. They were doing great. It's a shoe cleaning product, so they were doing fine on Amazon. I don't know what they were in the
Mhm.
shoe cleaning category, like top three or something for
Mhm.
a while, like selling lots of product. TikTok Shop comes out, which is now I think it has been about 3 or 4 months ago, but about two and a half ish months ago is when they really popped on the opportunity. They right now are top 20 companies for TikTok Shop. Um, he told me this in Las Vegas. He said, Wyatt, as much exposure as we got from Shark Tank, he said TikTok Shop has been more.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crazy. I mean, everyone knows Shark Tank. How many
Yeah.
seasons now? Like 15 seasons or something.
Yeah.
You've got mega super wealthy people as sharks. You have all the marketing behind it, the media, the influence, and then TikTok Shop goes crazy and says, "Well, what if we pitch this feature to business owners and say, hey, put your product on here. We'll make it to where they don't have to leave the app to purchase the product. So they can just click right on the video, boop, click it,
Wow.
buy it. Well, geez, now you've just put your product in the hands of like millions of people instantly.
Wow.
So,
Okay. I didn't know
yeah,
that existed, first of all.
it's crazy. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Keep
Maybe,
talking.
well, no.
So,
So there, yeah,
yeah,
TikTok is ahead of the curve. So TikTok
yeah.
is going, all right, well, reach is great, views are awesome, but what if we made business owners like basically have no other choice than to say, okay, I spent all this money on like marketing and ads all these years, but like
Uh,
what if I just gave my product to an influencer who already has like an audience?
yes.
Bam.
So, or maybe you don't, I do work on the side for a soap company. It's a pretty
Yep.
well-known soap company. They have lots of franchises, mostly on the east side of the country, but they're expanding. They're in the west too, but I feel like most of their markets in the east. But anyway, so I do some work for them on the side, and we had this conversation, and I was talking to them about this because I was like, our content needs to be less like produced, less like TV commercial, and more like organic, like add some sort of like human element to it. Like, we need to kind of like figure out a way to like story tell this a little bit better, you know? And so they like basically created this like the higher ups of the company like created this ad that they wanted to run on social media, and it was very TV, like very much like I watched it and I was like, this does not make sense. Like this doesn't, because they wanted to run it on social, but it was like curated
Yeah.
like if it were a TV ad, like a Super Bowl ad. Like it was
Yeah.
so weird. And I was like, also, it doesn't fit like the vibe of the brand. Like, I was very confused. I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like they tried really hard to do something so wacky. And I'm like, if you had just leaned in to who you are and what makes like your brand better than all these other people.
Hmm.
And then I was like, honestly, we probably could have put those dollars toward an influencer and have them create the content and
Yeah.
us like source it. I just, and they basically came to this conclusion of like, okay, we need to pay attention more to like influencer content and
Yeah.
like sponsorships and stuff like that. And it was very interesting. But I knew, and even like the stuff that I create for them, I try to approach it with like more organic, even though it is paid media.
Yeah.
I want to pretend like it's organic because
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to do the best. Because from brands, like it's so old school to see stuff that's like so highly produced and like, you know, if
Yeah.
you're not speaking to the person watching your video, then they're probably really not going to pay
Yeah.
attention. Like it's just not.
There's a Yeah, if you're interested in this stuff and you're listening to this, there's a guy that I've been following for a little while. His name is Christopher Claflin, I think is how you say his last name. Christopher Claflin, and
Okay.
he's on TikTok and he does very he works with people, content creators, and helps them kind of grow their pages and stuff. But he specializes in exactly what we're talking about, like content creation for business owners. And
Mm,
he gives examples, and he gave one day that just cracked me up. He's like, I want you to go to Gap's TikTok account right now, like Gap. So I go to it, and it's a joke. I mean, they're on TikTok, and they have little infomercial, like little perfectly curated,
mm-hmm.
beautiful, skinny people in their clothes
Yeah.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
They had
Like
like
in a studio.
Oh yeah, they had like 7,000 followers. The videos were getting like 500 views. I mean, we're talking about TikTok. Like 500 views on TikTok is terrible. That's like
Wow.
someone who basically just started an account. So he was like, these big corporations, they don't yet understand. Like and here's how he put it. He said they can't get over themselves. He said they're so in love with their
That
own
is the
product
truth.
that
Yes.
they've never they're not stepping into the viewer's perspective and saying, well, but what if I don't look like that? Then what do I do?
Literally. This is why I love Story Brand so much.
Yeah.
Again, to shout out to Donald Miller and freaking Story Brand, because
Yeah.
that is his whole thing. It's like you love yourself, you make yourself the hero, and then no one pays attention because
Yeah.
that's not relatable.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Yeah.
if all you're doing on your account and in your content is like, look at how amazing I am, look at all these things that I'm doing, look at me, look at me. It's just like it's just really off-putting.
Yeah.
And maybe you would get some interaction with that, but I guarantee if you switched it up and like really sought to bring people in and make them feel seen, you would
Yeah.
see a difference. Like,
Yeah. It's pretty
yeah.
cool. I think, you know, like, I think the influencer way is so great because what happens is if you're a business and you partner with an influencer, then you get an unbiased kind of opinion about your product, and it's real.
Yeah.
It's like a realistic perspective of what that product is, and how it can be used.
Right.
That you're not you know, like having so much micromanagement over.
Right.
You know, like my least favorite thing now is like if a brand reaches out and they have like a script of things that they want you to say about their product, I'm like, yeah, right, because that's not going to be authentic. Like, I'm not going to say what you want me to say.
Totally.
If you want me to let you do it, you know. So it's becoming way more organic, way more, you know, something can be like beautiful and unique and not be shot with a $10,000 camera and perfect lighting.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's the world we're living in now with organic content. Like
Yeah.
everybody has an iPhone. Everybody can do this. So that's what everyone wants to see too. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
so that's
I
an
also
interesting
heard
fact.
someone say this. I don't know who it was, but they said, no one is going to love your content more than you love your own content. So, like, basically meaning you're going to put something out there, you're going to fixate on it, you're going to like watch it a million times, but really somebody else, like, they're just going to be scrolling and seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, don't like, I think the point of that was like, you don't need to like fixate on yourself, and like, you don't need to, like, it's better to put something out there and like really seek to connect rather than like hyping yourself up, constantly
Yeah.
and fixating on your own content, which I have definitely done because
Mhm.
I'm like, I want it to be excellent. Like
Yeah.
but then it's like, if that's holding me back from even like putting anything out there, then I probably need to like rethink my strategy here, because there's been countless times where I'm just like, I just haven't done anything because I feel like it needs to be perfect. And it's like,
Yeah.
it just can't. Like, we're so past that,
Yeah.
You just
We
can't
are.
keep thinking that way.
And like the behind the scenes aspect is so popular now. It's like, okay, if you
Yeah.
own a business, like this is my favorite thing about short form content right now is like if you own a roofing company, it's like, and you want to make like short form content, it's like if you want to get some leads, don't tell them how great your roofs are. Don't talk about
Yep.
the 3-ply, what I don't know, roof lingo, but don't talk about that. Just show them what goes into the
Yes.
job site. Like, what's it like
Yes.
hiring people? What's it like when a crew member doesn't show up? What's it like, when the weather is crazy? Like, they want to see the stuff that's going on inside your brain, not your
Yes.
product. Like, people don't. The thing is, if okay, so that Christopher Claflin guy, he worked with a guy last year who's giant on TikTok now. He's got like 8 million followers. He's an old man. This guy's like almost 70, I think.
Aw.
He has rare and expensive books. I'm talking about like some books worth $20,000, right? Now the guy has stuff for sale. The guy has stuff for sale, right? But Christopher was like, "We're never gonna ask anyone to buy anything. I don't even want you to tell anyone that you have books for sale. We'll put your like link in your bio, but we're not gonna ever say, hey, and this is this price." He said, "What I want you to do is I want you to take a book out every day, and I want you to talk about that book." This guy starts doing this. He went from like 6,000 followers to millions of followers.
Wow.
And he's an expert on books, rare, old, expensive books. People think his stuff is amazing. And Christopher was like, guess what? He sold plenty of stuff. But he doesn't have to, because people don't care that you have stuff for sale. Like,
It's true.
you do. But
Well, it's like, do people go on social media to buy? No, they don't.
No.
They don't. They're there to scroll, to escape, to veg out. Like, they're just there. It's like, if you're going to cut through the noise, you're going to have to do something different. But going back to the roofing thing, so like we have friends that own a roofing business, and what he'll do is like go up on the roof and he's like storying from the roof, like showing what he's doing.
That's so
and
cool.
I literally don't care about roofing. I do not care about roofing. But I always stop and watch because number one, it's fascinating that you're just up on this roof. Like, how are you not dead? Because I'm always so nervous that I'm gonna witness him like falling off a roof or something. But he's safe about it. But like he's like, so this is what the roof is looking like. I'm just gonna like spray this stuff and then we're gonna do this and this and this. And I'm just like sitting there watching it like I'm watching something like some like thriller. I'm just like, I have to know what happens next. And I'm like, this could be your content. Like this could be like the guy that talks to us from the roof. Like it's like you should do more of this and you should create it into reels. Like you should just take your stories and make it into reels. That was my little tip.
Yeah, if you are a business and you're making some content and your name on your thing is, Joe Bob's Roofing, everyone knows you have a roofing company. Like everybody knows that. And generally speaking, everyone knows what a roof costs too.
Right.
So even if you're cheaper, you're not cheaper. Like all of us are going to spend a few $1,000s on a roof. So if you can just get eyeballs to your page. No matter if they're your target market or not, just get eyeballs.
Yeah.
Over time, you'll become a household name. And when people think of a roofing company, they're going to think of your roofing company versus the person down the road who doesn't do social media. So
and they're going to trust you. They're going to they're going to know, they're going to trust. Like that. Those are the things.
Yeah.
This is what I talk to my clients about all the time. I'm like, you have to talk about the benefits of like what it's like to work with you. Don't just say, oh, I do this, so hire me. It's like, well, no, like how's my life going to change? Like, what are the benefits of this?
Yeah.
You have to like really show people that because it's there's saturated markets. There's all sorts of people, like they want to connect with someone that they feel like they can trust, that they feel safe with, especially if it's a big investment. But those are all very good. I mean, I feel like I could talk about this for hours because it's something that I've had to learn as I've gone along in business. And did I ever think that I would have to think this critically about like, it's like critical, but then it's also like, don't think too critical about it. Like it's very nuanced, but, I think it's such like, you're right. Like there is such a nice opportunity now, where your content can really be super organic. I think if people could just be consistent in storytelling, just be consistent on stories and start there and see what happens. Like exactly what you said before. Start on stories, take people behind the scenes and just see what happens. Try that for a month. See what happens. I'm going to do that. I'll apply that to myself and see what happens.
Yeah, it's a fascinating little field test because you go, okay, well, geez, like if I went from 400 views on this first story to 300 on the second, then the 100 people were just like, so it teaches you like, okay, let's position just the beginning of it a certain way that kind of pulls people in and then, take them along kind of a journey from there. So fun. I think I never said the stumbling or like the hard parts.
The hurdle.
The hurdle would be, as a content creator is probably just the constant, like the output, but your mind behind it. Cause, so I'm never going to say you have to post daily. I'm not that kind of guy. I think storytelling is so powerful that I'll take sometimes a week off and then my next video back will be amazing and go viral and get more views than some of my other videos because I just think storytelling is so powerful. And the algorithms these days are so strong, like so strong. Don't worry about hashtags. Don't worry about all that stuff. Like
hashtags are dead.
It'll get to the right people. It's different than long form YouTube. But yeah, the hurdle probably for me is just like I'm constantly, my brain's spinning about, all the things, views, engagement, people, the story, the projects. I love it. But if you were the type of person who like isn't over the fear of like what people think of you. So I can't imagine right now if I still cared about what these comments were saying. Because that would literally completely stop me from doing stuff because there's so many of them. So
Yeah.
I think first it would be just totally be okay with the fact that let's just estimate and say 2/3 of people on the internet are going to not respect what you do, and you may
Mm-hmm.
get some negative comments. I know people who turn those delete that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to hire somebody to sit there and delete all my comments because there's just so many of them. So, it's like who really cares? Like really, if you get into media and you understand algorithms and you understand what makes a video go viral, then you would understand that that's helping you. Just being honest,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I don't want to thrive off of negativity, but to me,
Yeah.
it's not even. To me, it's probably a 14-year-old kid who just wants to be in it, to stir up trouble. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what I usually do is I'll comment back. I'll go I'll see whatever their name is on their TikTok. I might go on their profile and look at a video, and I'll just comment back something kind of snarky about their name or their page or whatever. Nothing hurtful, but just something like, okay, if you want to fire at me, I'm going to fire at you.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah.
helps the reach. So at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? Like now,
It's like,
if it
thanks for supporting.
yeah, yeah, thanks. You just helped my video, So, and the best thing about these short form content these days is followers don't matter either. Like they just don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're right.
every video is judged individually. You can have 1 million followers and you can have a video flop and get 5,000 views, or you can have
Mm-hmm.
5 followers and have a video go crazy viral. I
Yeah.
mean, I see it every day. So
Yeah.
it's just changed a lot from the days of hey, like and subscribe. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if you like and subscribe. What's most important is retention. So
Yeah.
that's why I think storytelling is very important because I want you to watch most of my video.
Yeah.
Um, and just for a little data, my best videos usually are around 80% retention. Which is
Mm.
crazy. If 15 million people watch the video and the retention's 80%, that means most people
Yeah.
watched the whole video, if not watched it twice. So that's why storytelling is important. Is you want to be able to. It's not manipulation. It's to me. I see
It's how
it
our
the
brains are
opposite.
wired.
I see it as respecting people's time. I mean, to me, it's powerful that
Mm.
I can have a minute of somebody's time, and I can inspire them in 1 minute, and it might hit
Mm.
1 million people in the next 3 days, versus the old days where it's wow, this might reach a few hundred people,
Yeah.
but they have to commit to watching a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
kind of see it as respecting people's time, and people are like, well, our attention spans are getting short. I'm like, all right, maybe I don't know.
Sure, like you could say that, but also like you're in full control of your own life. Like you don't
Yeah,
have to sit there and doom scroll.
right.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Like
you're
you
right.
don't have to. Like if you're
Yeah,
upset with it, then
yeah,
don't like this. Those same people are the ones that like literally just scroll for hours. So
yeah.
it's
I know. It doesn't matter. I'm like, well,
it
if that's the
is what it
case, then
is.
yeah, let me be part of that 1 minute. Let me be a minute of their day, and hopefully it inspires them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like series, like the same like kind of content is important? Like having some sort of like
Mm,
series that you're known by? Because that's something that I see a lot, even like with people that I follow. Like there's like this home organization lady, which I mean, that is kind of like her entire content, but she just like restocks her kitchen or restocks her cleaning
yeah,
supplies. And I'm like, give me more.
yeah.
I
Just
love
kind of
it.
talking about getting down to a niche kind of, and
Yeah, kind
I
of.
think it helps to have something about you that kind of draws that initial audience. Like if there's anything
Okay.
a hashtag is good for these days, it's sort of telling the algorithm what your intentions are. It's
Okay.
I don't think they matter once you kind of have a good following, but at the beginning, I
Mm-hmm.
think it can help. If you're a roofing company, you're probably not going to be it's not going to be a bunch of 25-year-old females watching your channel. So it's it
Yeah.
can kind of help get it to the right people. But I think it's good to have a certain subject matter that's kind of the theme of your, for me, it's always probably going to be sort of side hustles and business, finance a little bit, entertainment. But yeah, I'd love to be able to venture out into some other product promotion type stuff.
Yeah.
Even building my own business through social media, I think would be a very cool adventure to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think with short form content, it's much easier to experiment.
Yeah.
If you are a branding business, but you kind of have a fascination with cooking,
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably pull it off. It just might it might be a smaller section of your audience that like falls in love with that, but also the reach is so powerful with short form content. Like sometimes you'll find a whole nother set of eyeballs. So that's why I bought my van. You remember when Jenna was doing the podcast, I was about to buy my van. The reason I bought that little van is because there's like a crazy subculture of people that are fascinated with these vans. Well, most of those people it'd be a coincidence if they also liked thrifting. But I thought, well, I already have one audience. What if I did this and just like kind of had the two worlds merge? And I'm still discovering that. I'm not going to say I've nailed that yet. But like I had a video about my van, had nothing to do with thrifting, go pretty viral on Facebook last week, and it got up to like 250,000 views. It brought on like another 10,000 like followers to my Facebook page.
Wow.
They're fascinated with my van. They don't know anything about my reselling. So I think it's much easier to experiment with short form. I feel like with long form, you kind of have to stick in your lane, until you get so big that you can pretty much tell everyone like, hey, this is going to be different than what I usually do. You can't do it at the beginning because there's not enough people to field test that with.
Right.
But yeah, I just always tell people like, yeah, have your main thing, but I think as you grow, it can be cool to have another something, even if it's just for your own sanity. Like if you love cooking and if you're dying to make a video about your cooking stuff, like if you're a female, if you're a mom, like, and you have a branding business, well, cooking's not that far off from that.
Totally.
It's like the same people are gonna pretty much like that stuff. So I can experiment with it and see what lands, but I'm not the kind of person that's like you got to stick to your thing. I think that's a trap for you. I think that's gonna make you tired.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's good advice. I really like that. What's next for you? I know you said you're wanting to kind of branch out into some new things, but is there anything specific that's coming up for Rewilded Reselling that you want to share, or where are you at?
If Chloe comes up with a cool name for me, that'd be fun. I'd like to change my name. But no, so the company that I do some side work for with the shoe cleaning company, they just asked me to begin to edit and do one video for their page every week. So actually making a video that they post on their own page. So that's cool. I've had multiple opportunities people have reached out to ask me to edit for them. I don't want to do that because editing my own stuff takes a lot of energy.
That would take all your time away from you from what makes you money.
Yeah, I go to bed thinking about my own videos. So like to try to think about someone else in like a totally different. I had a roofing company reach out to me. I had a realtor reach out to me. Lots of different stuff. My guys, to be honest, I know you like my videos, but my videos aren't going to work for yours. You have to go find someone who's really good at that. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm good at editing my videos. I've never edited anyone else's videos yet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the next thing for me is going to be I'm going to ride it out with this company for as long as they want me, because it's the most amazing opportunity. Like, you can't make that up. I mean, they brought me to Las Vegas. I was in a room filled with 250 Shark Tank company entrepreneurs. I wasn't on Shark Tank. Like, I didn't even know what that company was until last fall. So
the content you're creating for them is like influencer based content. Like they're sourcing basically you for their content, or are you taking content? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So on TikTok specifically with TikTok Shop, we're trying to kind of like capitalize on where that's at, because right now the TikTok Shop, like TikTok is pouring tons of money into the shop feature.
Right.
So there's a lot of good perks with it right now. It probably won't last forever, but for the next probably 4 to 6 months, it's going to be really good. It's going to help establish them as like a long-term just company that's just killing it on TikTok, and it's helped their Amazon too. Like anyways, that's another thing. But so right now what's happening is every now and then I throw out a video where I mention their product in my videos, and I've sold their product through my videos.
Okay.
But what they've just asked me to do is actually make a video for their own page. And so they're basically paying me more like a flat fee for the video. And then if there's sales that come of that, there's like commission involved and stuff. But it's not they're shorter videos. I'm doing like 20 to 30-second videos, which is
Yeah, okay.
a little easier for me to put out because I'm used to doing minute plus. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So
Okay.
I really respect these guys. They've been super awesome. They're one of Jenna's clients too, which is really cool.
Nice.
They like the main owner, the majority owner lives in California, and the other guy lives in Charlotte. So it's like I don't know why these guys keep like hitting me up, but we just mesh well. I mean, when I went to Las Vegas, it was like I was like, dude, I feel like I've known you guys forever, So it's just one of those things. I'm like, I just want to ride this out and see where this takes me. Who knows?
Yeah.
I want to remain self-employed, so I just don't like. I'm not trying to get an editing. I'm not trying to have an editing career.
Right.
I want to grow on social media and have my own channels.
Right.
But I think the side work kind of things are good. I think they're going to prepare me for my own stuff at some point.
Yeah.
Since they have
That's legit.
It's pretty cool to like. The videos are different. It's like less. I don't know. I kind of have to think about their product, like promoting it in like a not a salesy way, but like an organic way. So I don't know. It's kind of like I feel like I'm in like school or something. Like, like I feel like I'm in like a trade school. Like I'm learning on the job. Like, but it's just the most cool opportunity. Like how do most people don't get that opportunity? So maybe doing a little coaching with like some smaller creators. I'm thinking about filming like some simple courses about like literally just like the first one being like something you could buy for $10 that's literally just here's how you make a video on your phone and post it on. I mean, it sounds simple, but like we were at the FlipCon event and there was like we went and did a breakout session and I'm talking about short form content and there was like a lady that raised her hand and she's like, well, what if I don't even know how to do any of this? And I went,
yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like, seriously, people just don't know how to do stuff still.
Yes. Yeah. So. I'm the person that people ask for like social media questions. Yeah. I'm one of the people I feel like people ask because I do this all the time. And you'd be amazed, like stuff that people just don't know. I'm like, dang, like but I think that's a really good idea. Doing something like that. I know that, I love the coaching idea too. I think you have a natural, like teaching ability, I think, and that would be really cool, for you. Yeah, so I'll be excited to see if that happens. Yeah. All right. Well, where can people find you and connect with you? Now that they know you.
Yeah, well,
or they may already know you.
As long as my name remains Rewilded Reselling, that's what it is on every platform. It might be like have an underscore or something different on some of the platforms, but you should be able to search it and find it. But Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. If you ever want to connect with me, Instagram is the best way for that because it's just easier to talk. I guess I have threads too. I know you're on the threads, Chloe. We don't know we don't know
what's happening with that.
It was real hot for like 3 days, and then you're like,
oh, it was popping. Honestly, now it's like I use it if I want to write text for something and not do like image based or graphic, and I just put it on threads and then I share it to like my story. That's kind of like I'm like then it's two birds one stone. Like I posted a thread and I posted a story and told people what I was doing. So okay, cool. Sorry, there's one thing that I wanted to. Oh, okay. Totally sidebar. There was an account that was like a fake account or whatever the other day that it like followed me, and I was like, he already follows me, so I immediately knew that it was spam. But I reported it, and they're like, we saw that this doesn't go against our community guidelines. And I was like, why the heck not? I literally said they are impersonating this person, clicked on your name. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like, what is Instagram doing? Like, it's clearly a violation.
It did it 2 or 3 months ago. I had another one. Same thing. I probably had, 20, 30 people report it, and every one of them got the same notification back. So
that's so dumb. Have you ever like thought about purchasing the check mark, the Meta Verified or whatever?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it now because it's just like, all right, I thought, okay, one-time thing, but now it's happened again. It may be time to do that.
I just didn't know. I'm like, dang, that's so annoying. Instagram's so annoying.
It is annoying. Well, what's funny about it is I could care less about the fake account. What's annoying is
if they're trying to get money.
Well, yeah, but people messaging me like 5 times a day with screenshots saying, "Hey, is this you?" Like, no, it's not me. Like, again, another thing that people don't understand. I'm like, to me, it's really easy to see if an account.
It's obvious.
But people like, literally, someone reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, did you start a new account?" I'm like, "No." Like,
why would I have started a new account and not told you on my account?
So it is annoying. It is very annoying.
I'm sorry. Well, I did report it. It did nothing.
No, I appreciate it. I don't know how it finally got taken down last time, but it took like a month. And
that's so stupid.
I never got a notification or anything. I just finally realized, it's not there anymore. They always block me too, so I have to go look on my personal account to even see it. So it's weird. I don't know.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen anymore, but it probably will. But well, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Yeah. It's been a blast. I feel like there's even more we could have talked about, so maybe you'll have to come back for another episode. But I appreciate your time and talking about all the things, all the social media things, and we'll talk soon.
Cool. Thank you, Chloe.
All right. See you later. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, I would love for you to go leave a review. You can connect with us on Instagram and Threads at Wonder Creative Pod. Theme song for the podcast was written and sung by me and produced by Andrew Mindy. We'll catch you next time.